Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bold and Beautiful today. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful indicate that Ivy Forrester has always been unique. Is Ivy actually Electra's mother? She's a Forrester by name but raised apart, with an increasingly descending Australian accent to indicate her far-flung upbringing. Let's face it, other than her last name, we know little about Ivy and her past before her LA dalliances with the Spencer boys. There may be a skeleton or three in Ivy's past, and this is why we believe one of them is working next to her in Los Angeles. Who is the mother of Electra? Thus far we've been told that Electra and her dad traveled extensively before she came to LA with, drumroll, Ivy, her aunt. Electra is also a jewelry designer. Just like Ivy, they have a very close relationship, and live together at the Forrester mansion. Despite being an adult, Ivy informed Will that she did not think it was appropriate for her to spend the night at his beach house. What kind of aunt would impose such limitations on a self-sufficient adult? Furthermore, how did Electra develop such a strong bond with Ivy if she and her father were constantly on the go? What motivates Electra to create jewelry? Ivy is a jewelry designer and so is Electra. Is this a case of like mother, like daughter? Ivy's territoriality toward Electra was evident from the first day in Los Angeles, and her influence is still noticeable today. Ivy clearly saw Electra as more than just her protégé. Last week Ivy's opinion on how Electra should conduct her life came out like gangbusters when she went to Will's house. Correct. But even before this, Ivy insisted on hearing the details of Electra's first night with Will. That's something a meddling mum would do. It's also possible that Ivy was worried that she wouldn't experience what she did, becoming a young, single mother. It's possible that Ivy became pregnant at a young age, and like what happens in so many families, she took on a fake role as sister or in this case aunt. Ivy became enraged and insisted that Dylan leave Los Angeles after witnessing him on Will's lap. Who does this? Ranting endlessly about propriety. Do you believe that Ivy is actually Electra's mother? Which explains why she is so rigid about appearances and the need to be respectable and avoid embarrassing the family. Be sure to catch up on everything happening with The Bold and the Beautiful right now. Is Ivy Electra's mother? Electra Forrester has sensed it for weeks. The looks that linger a moment too long. The peculiar protectiveness. The way Ivy Forrester watches her. Not like a cousin, not like a colleague, but like someone terrified of losing her. At first, Electra brushed it off as stress, family tension, or Ivy's well-known intensity. Now, though, the truth is now struggling to come to light. If the rumors are accurate, Electra's entire worldview is about to fall apart. Electra is by herself at her desk, gazing at an incomplete sketch. Her pencil trembles in her hand. Across the room, Ivy pretends to focus on fabric swatches, but her eyes keep drifting back to Electra. Every time. At last, Electra raises her head. Their gazes meet. The air crackles. Ivy looks away first. That's when Electra knows. There's a problem. Electra storms after Ivy. Electra! Stop, Ivy. Ivy freezes, but she doesn't move. Electra! Why do you continue to observe me in that manner? Ivy lets out a slow breath, preparing herself. Ivy, why? Like what? Electra steps closer, voice shaking. Electra! As if you're worried that I'll vanish. As if you have knowledge about me that I do not. Ivy turns now, and her face is white. Ivy, why? You're dreaming. Electra laughs. Electra! I'm not crazy. Everyone keeps whispering. I was asked if I was okay by Carter, Hope, and even Steffi. What does that mean? Ivy swallows hard. Ivy, why? It means you're under pressure. Electra! No. It means there's a secret. And you're at the center of it. A long, unbearable silence. Ivy's eyes glisten, but she forces a smile. Ivy, why? Electra, let it go. Electra doesn't move. Electra, I can't. With her arms folded, Steffi stands behind her desk and listens carefully as Electra paces. Electra. She won't look at me when I ask her direct questions. She becomes emotional and defensive before cutting me off. Steffi scowls. Steffi. Ivy has never been easy to understand. Electra ceases to pace. Electra. This is not difficult. This seems intimate. Steffi pauses. Steffi. Electra. Has anyone ever told you the full story of your birth? Electra becomes rigid. Electra. By what do you mean? With a sigh, Steffi expresses regret for opening this door. Steffi. Gaps were present. Things that didn't add up. However, families such as ours, we survive on half-truths. Electra's voice is barely a whisper. Electra. You believe Ivy has some knowledge of my origins? Steffi doesn't respond. That's a sufficient response. Sydney flashback. Years ago. In a hospital room, a younger Ivy sits with tears in her eyes. She's holding a newborn baby. A physician speaks softly. A doctor. A lot of blood was lost. If you keep this child, your life will never be the same. Ivy looks down at the baby. Her infant. Tears fall onto the tiny blanket. Ivy, why? I don't care. The door opens. A powerful Forrester relative steps inside. Stern, controlling. Forrester family member. There is nothing you can do. Ivy tightens her grip on the infant. Ivy, why? I own her. Forrester family member. Not if you're hoping for the future. The infant sobs. Ivy breaks. Back to present, Ivy's apartment, night. Ivy sits alone, holding an old photograph. A picture of her with a baby girl when she was much younger. She uses her thumb to trace the infant's face. Ivy, why? I apologize. She is startled by a knock on the door. She quickly covers the picture. Ivy, why? Who is it? Electra. Me. Ivy's heart stops. Stepping inside, Electra looks around the space. Electra. You didn't answer my calls. Ivy, why? I was busy. Electra closes the door behind her. Electra. Give up lying to me. Ivy tenses up. Electra. I visited the hospital where I was born. Ivy gasped for air. Electra. The documents are sealed. Absolutely. That is not typical. Ivy turns away. Electra. Then I discovered something else. Electra pulls out her phone and shows a photo. The same photo Ivy just hid. Ivy's face drains of color. Ivy, why? Where did you get that? Electra. That's my question. A long silence. Electra's voice cracks. Electra. Why are you holding me as a newborn? Ivy shuts her eyes. At last, the truth has arrived. The confession of Ivy. Ivy sinks onto the couch, shaking. Ivy, why? This is not how I wanted you to find out. Electra feels her chest constrict. Electra. Find out what? Ivy looks up, tears streaming. Ivy, why? Your mother is me. Like a detonation, the words linger in the atmosphere. Electra staggers back. Electra. No. That isn't feasible. Ivy, why? I was young. Alone. The family concluded that you would be better off without my scandal. Electra speaks louder. Electra. So you were erased? Ivy, why? They deleted us. With tears streaming down her face, Electra shakes her head. Electra. My entire life was a lie. Desperate, Ivy stands. Ivy, why? From a distance, I saw you mature. On each birthday. Every accomplishment. I never stopped loving you, even though I was unable to touch you. Electra gives a bitter laugh. Electra. You cannot call your covert love for me a sacrifice. Ivy breaks down. Ivy, why? I did what I was told. Electra's gaze hardens. Electra. And now I get to decide what to do with the truth. She turns and walks out, leaving Ivy sobbing behind her. Electra stands in the living room, facing the family, Steffi, Rich, Brooke, Eric. Electra. Ivy is my mother. Gasps reverberate. Brooke's mouth is covered. Brooke. Oh my God. Ridge appears astonished. Ridge. That is not feasible. Electra. You knew. Quiet. That's confirmation. Anger makes Electra's voice tremble. Electra. You all knew. And you allowed me to live a lie. Eric averts his gaze, embarrassed. Eric. We believed we were keeping you safe. Electra wipes her tears. Electra. You were defending yourself. She looks in the direction of the door. Electra. I no longer know who my family is. She walks away. The room is completely destroyed. Electra stands alone, waves crashing behind her. Ivy comes over slowly. Ivy, why? I don't want to be forgiven. Electra doesn't turn. Electra. I don't know if I can ever call you Mom. Ivy nods. Ivy, why? Whatever you give me, I'll take. Even nothing. At last, Electra gives her a look. Electra. But I won't be silent anymore. Ivy meets her gaze. Ivy, why? I won't either. The last cliffhanger. Someone observes them together from a distance. A familiar figure. Sheila Carter. She smiles wickedly. Sheila. A secret between a mother and daughter revealed? Excellent timing. She looks away, already making plans for what to do next. Ivy persuades Steffi and Ridge to cut Spencer loose. But will he get fired? The bold and the beautiful spoiler hint that Spencer may get fired. Will Ivy Forrester convince Steffi Forrester Finnegan and Ridge Forrester to cut this problematic Spencer loose? Because of all the drama surrounding Logan, Will has already been worried about his Forrester position. Will asked Ridge about his job security after Katie Logan Spencer, Heather Tom, started a fight with Ridge and Brooke Logan Forrester, Catherine Kelly Lang. Ridge offered reassurance since he doesn't judge Will for Katie's actions or even Bill Spencer's Don Diamorn, for that matter. However, depending on how things work out, Will's own errors might prevent him from working at Forrester Creations in the future. Now that Ivy has witnessed such a scandalous scene between Will and Dylan, she's going to cause a big fuss about it. According to B&B spoilers, Will might step in when Ivy tries to send Dylan out of town. Regardless, Electra Forrester won't be pleased once she gets updates on what happened while she was away on business. Dylan's need to respect boundaries has received a lot of attention. But what about Will? Not to mention that Will had previously asked Dylan to have teriyaki chicken with him. When Hayes Finnegan proposed that Dylan take her up to her room instead of the main house, Will rejected the idea. Will forced Dylan to give Hayes a private ballet performance after he fell asleep, which resulted in the inappropriate lap moment that Ivy saw. Since Dylan isn't actively pursuing Will like a predator, Will needs to accept some responsibility. To be honest, it appears that Will is constantly making things difficult for her while Dylan is attempting to resist temptation. Electra and Will might get into a heated argument over this whole thing, particularly if she agrees with Ivy that Dylan should leave town or at the very least the guest room. Will may argue that they can't just throw Dylan out and force her to live in her car again. Whether this ends Electra and Will's relationship or not, Ivy may take matters into her own hands at Forrester Creations. Ivy doesn't mess around when it comes to people who hurt Electra, so she may push Steffi and Ridge to fire Will ASAP. If Will and Electra do break up, that'll make it even easier for Ridge and Steffi to decide they should give Will the boot. Stay tuned as spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful suggest that Will might receive some unfavorable news regarding his future at Forrester Creations. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for the next 2 weeks suggest some twists. Fans can anticipate a threat from Steffi Forrester Finnegan, Jacqueline McInnes Wood. Dylan meets RJ Forrester by chance in the interim. Discover what will happen next in the CBS soap opera by continuing to read. The Danger of Steffi Forrester Finnegan. Let's talk about what will happen from February 2nd to February 6th before moving on to the 2-weekers. The fact that Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, is still seeing Deacon Sharp will make fans go crazy. Taylor has crossed the line and isn't acting as a therapist anymore, but as a woman. Taylor and Deacon are adamant about being together. This implies that Deacon will eventually have to be honest with Sheila Carter Sharp, Kimberlyn Brown. However, we know that at the end of the week, Sheila is still blissfully unaware. In the meantime, Steffi will order her mother to stop associating with Deacon. If Taylor doesn't, Steffi says her mother will lose her whole family, including her. Dylan's chance meeting. Over with Dylan, she goes to tell Will Spencer and Electra Forrester some news. The girl will take Ivy Forrester's cash and prepare to leave the city. To bid farewell, Dylan visits Forrester Creations.